Welcome to the StockMentor.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson. Consolidation, well, we had a pop here right towards the beginning of the day. Well, depends on where you're at. For me, it was the beginning of the day, about noontime out there on the East Coast. And from that point on, it was flat. So we started the day flat. We opened flat. We had one good size pop to the upside and then flat. Not much else going on. So not a whole lot being done here actually by the Bulls and the Bears. A lot of consolidation, which is obvious by the 60-minute chart here in front of you. You can see us trapped between the 20 and the 50, looking for a break one way or the other. Still looking at maybe up here, down here for your breaks to the up and down side, but this is nothing more than a consolidation. No real way to call this yet until we see the break up. Ultimately, I like it down here, breakdown for the Dow. Otherwise, trapped once again between the 20 and the 50 on the 60-minute chart. And if we go to a daily, you can also see us creeping ever so slightly to the upside today. This thing's going to have any more gas in it where it's going to make another new high. It needs to get started here in the next couple days. We need to start to see this thing really start to accelerate to the upside. Maybe it'll wait for some news or something, whatever, this week. But anyway, point being, if this is going to break to new highs, make another push upwards, it's got to get going. I'd say in the next 2 to maybe 3 days max for me. I'd be a lot less bullish on this market if we see this thing consolidate or sit around here for 2 or 3 days and kind of wander its way sideways. It would not be good. One thing to be watching going forward, guys, is this 20-day moving average. We want to see that. If you're a bear, you want to see that not only broken, you want to see it close below that area. Still some good staunch support down below it, but ultimately that is your first step, getting back below the 20-day and holding there. NASDAQ, look, showing us the exact same thing, just in a big consolidation, working its way sideways. I mentioned the 2400 level. I've been watching that for a long time. Today's high, 2399.68. So 2400 still an area of good strength for both the Bears and the Bulls. Kind of depends on what side of the fence you're on at that particular time. Right now we are below that area, so good overhead resistance for the time being. From a daily though, you can see the consolidation happening. This is turning into a really nice bull pullback, and I mentioned this before. We saw this kind of behavior here. Okay, so we had a lot of these little days where we wandered one way or the other, but held very nicely to this upper area. Same thing's happening here. We have broke this overhead area. Now we're holding to that upper area. That still remains as a bullish sign for the markets. The consolidation, though, as I've said, is not something I want to see for any length of time. I want to see this thing start going over the next few days and prove that it's going to be bullish. From a weekly, it's only Monday, won't worry about it. 60-minute here on the SPX showing us exactly what we're seeing on all the other charts. A little triangle consolidation here, trapped between the 20 and the 50, looking for breaks above here, breaks below here. It's ultimately what you want to watch for and take your breaks accordingly to the trend. So right now we're chopping sideways. No real way to call this as of yet. Holding beautifully to the 20-day moving average. Thank you. So come down, hit the 20-day moving average where we've held now for 1, 2, 3 days after today. And as I said, don't want to have it sit down here too long. I really like this thing to start going to the upside. Getting back below these levels, going to put a little bit more caution from the bull side. VIX was way down today, 6.74%. We talked about this huge run up. Getting into lower levels where I like to be buying my options because it doesn't seem to want to stay down here very long, only to run back up into that 1920 area where it doesn't seem to want to stay very long. We're seeing quite a bit of contentment right around the 16 area. 14, a little bit too far. 19, a little bit too high. So we are stuck once again in this range on the VIX. As of today, markets moved up, VIX moved down, so contentment in the markets. Nobody's panicking here at all. Apple has held yet again this area here. Now I want to tell you that in kind of the 60-minute version here. We're in what appears to be well, not only is it a consolidation, but it appears to be some sort of a descending triangle consolidation. And if that breaks the way it typically does, we will see this thing break the 345 area. That will be an area to look at to the short side. If it can turn in reverse, turn and burn as it would, 355 still my most conservative overhead area to get long. Some of you can try that shot over 350. I don't think that's a bad area, but you'll want to be careful with that trade. We've had numerous attempts to get above it. None of them have worked so far, so be careful on any trade over 350. However, I would certainly not slap your hand if you tried a little bit of a long play. So still, above 355, above 350 for the more aggressive, and below 345 for the more conservative entries. Here's Apple on that daily, holding very, very nicely here down here as well. Support is at the 50, and that is right at or around that 345 area that we've been talking about. Weekly, same thing, holding nicely to the 20-week moving average for 1-2 weeks. Last 2 weeks have been, Apple's gone nowhere. It's been very boring trading, which only tells me it's about to bust. And when it does, be ready for your entry. FAS 60 minutes, same type of thing here. Nice little consolidation, was down a whopping 5 cents today. So by the end of the day, we really didn't see a whole lot of movement, going right to the daily. Still stuck in this area. Did like it below 29, finished at 29.10. Just a lot of bearish and bullish action right around that $29 mark. That would probably be another place to be looking tomorrow. If you got back and below 29, you want to take a shot at it, that would be the place I'd be looking. 28.50 is the more conservative place. Right now, though, look what we're seeing. Remember, A, B, C, D, maybe E. I don't know. Just saying. Looks like a giant triangle. Everything's consolidating right now. It's so easy to find these little symmetrical triangle patterns. They're just all over the place, and that's because the whole market's doing this type of stuff. There are a few, of course, there's always your scattered few stocks that are moving very well and they're going up and down, but as a whole, over the weekend, I saw a ton of these type of charts. Very, very, very choppy. Then, of course, FAZ going right to a daily. You can see the same thing happening here, just in a beautiful triangle type pattern. I'll try to add those lines for you on the next video, but it's pretty clear to see what exactly is going on here. We're just waiting for a break one way or the other. I do like more, if you want to get really aggressive, more aggressive shots are above 42. More conservative or above 43 or 44, and then back below 38 for your long and your short there. I really don't have an aggressive short entry unless you want to try below these moving averages, but once again, very, very aggressive on both the over 42 and under the moving averages entries. Right now, just nothing going on in the financials, and it's mirrored by what we're seeing in the other markets. Straight consolidation. Okay, as for what we were doing in the subscribers stuff last week, we played Cool. Cool on a daily broke this line right here. Now it's retesting this line. By the way, not a bad trade here. If it holds this line, could make for some good shorting coming into the future here. But took that trade right below that blue and then was stopped out the next day. Made a teeny bit on it, not a ton. We didn't get quite the bearish action I was looking for as we bounced very nicely off the 50. That was obviously my target here. That first target was right here at the 50. And held very, very nicely on the bounce. So we made a little bit of money there, 10, 15 cents. But on a $3 stock, that's a pretty decent move. DTG was one we also had on the charts for last week. And a lot of my guys, I told them above 70 was my entry. We actually tracked this one for quite a while and just could not seem to make this work. I decided to hold on one more week because I knew that once it busted, it would probably bust hard. And lo and behold, of course. Anyway, I take it off my subscribers list, and today's the day it pops. So the trade was above 70. Had some people that did stay in this trade up and over 70 here. We had them. We got in here at 71.21. We were not stopped out at the end of last week. Some chose to stay in it, some did not. It paid off for the ones that did hold over the weekend. As you can see, it was up 13.75% today. So we've had some monster moves in some of the stocks we've been doing over the last few weeks. Feel free if you guys want to see what we do in the subscribers newsletter, every week I change out some individual stocks. Give us something to look at, give us something to play. when the markets aren't moving. This individual stocks are great. They're wonderful. I love following these things because when the other markets or when the indices aren't moving, these always seem to be moving. So I always try to find something setting up perfectly for a really nice trade. And we've been very, very successful over the last few weeks. Definitely something I would tell you guys to at least try out at 28 bucks a month. If you've been following me, I've having some people sign up that say they've been following me for a year. If you've been following me for a while and you like what you're seeing in the daily, I really think you're going to love what you're seeing in the subscribers video, especially if you've been with me for 6 months or whatever or more. You're familiar with me, kind of know what my trading style is. I'm a little bit more on the conservative side, but we found some really strong movers lately. This one now is up 13.75% from last week on today's trading. I obviously took it off this week to find something else that was setting up a little bit nicer, but we've had really strong moves in our subscribers list lately. Go back to the previous Mondays and you'll see. Lulu was another one we were watching. This one had a nice strong move today, but we actually took this one short below the 20-day moving average. Managed to make a little bit on this. Once again, it didn't go quite as deep as I was hoping. I was really hoping we'd get down here to the 50. We didn't quite make it, just about to the 90, and that's where it turned around. 90 was an area of support, but not necessarily a first target for me, so I'll tell you that we did okay on this trade. We didn't make much, maybe break even, just didn't work out as well as I would like. I'm not interested in this trade anymore. MCP was another one that we watched, and we did try to, we tried this right here, this breakout here was perfect, only followed the next day by this huge swoop to the downside. At that point I said, stay out of it. I don't like it when stocks do this. They break on beautiful volume. This is just a cherry break, and then come screaming back down the next day. Not for me. I'm done. So we were done with this trade way early in the week. It just didn't work out. This is very indicative of what you'll find in a consolidating. When the indices and stuff are consolidating, this is very common. You'll see a lot of this. Stocks consolidate as well. It's hard to find really good strong movers when the markets aren't going one way or the other. VRSN was another one we took to the long side, and this one, of course, oh no, this one here, we talked about maybe taking this one to the short side, got it down into the 50, and then it turned around and headed straight north very quickly. Once again, strong move to the downside, heavy move right away to the upside. I'm done. I don't like to play those stocks. This is not something I follow on an everyday basis. I did give the subscribers options to get in long or short, but I did recommend that they not do or play these type of things. I am more conservative in my trading. I do not like seeing this kind of volatility in a stock, so I stayed out of it. Anyway, point being, this was another one we took off the charts for last week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 were taken off. I think I added 3 or 4 more this week, so we've got a lot of good stuff going on. I had a couple of entries in them. If you haven't tried it, try it. Try the subscribers newsletter, especially if you've been with me for a while. I think you'll really enjoy it. The next step, if you just can't seem to find your trading mojo and you don't know exactly what you're doing wrong, let me connect the dots for you through my mentoring course. It's an extremely strong course. Very good luck with it lately. It actually got a gentleman going through it right now who's 20 years on Wall Street and is very happy, saying, boy, Brian, I've just never been shown this type of stuff before. So I'm very excited about that. Sometimes I don't always know, what do people know, what don't they know, but I'm consistently finding that most people have never been told the stuff contained in my mentoring course, and they're always ecstatic when they get out of it to use that then within the markets. So something that you need to look into if you haven't already. Call me, write me about it. We can talk more about it and see if it's for you. All right. See you guys. Probably not tomorrow. I'll probably be back on Wednesday. I might be able to slide in a video for you tomorrow. If not, I definitely will do one on Wednesday. Talk to you guys later. Bye.